unsportsmanlike content.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in unsportsmanlike content history, a very major occasion, Thomas Forness is here in the flesh, not just the voice. Tommy, welcome to unsportsmanlike content. How you doing?
No, it's just great to be here.
You know what? It is great to be here. This is the first time we've gotten together since graduation back in May, and it's a pretty good weekend for it. To my right is Kenan Bjelevac. Kenan, how are you doing?
Feeling amazing. Got to see my homies.
He's already lying. He had 1 hour sleep.
Yeah, he got 1 hour.
One hour sleep, but you know,
it
is what it is.
He's happy to see his buddies, but he did in fact get an hour of sleep.
Hour of sleep.
So I'm not sure about the amazing part. Ladies and gentlemen, obviously, you see the background behind us. We got Allen Fieldhouse in the background, feel like a meteorologist. We got a big game today. We got the 4th ranked Houston Cougars coming in at 19-2, coming to Allen Fieldhouse to face the 8th ranked Kansas Jayhawks, who are 17-4. That's what this episode is going to be all about. We got a quick preview of the game. Tip off at 3 o'clock. Right now it is 1:37. Tommy, I'm going to start with you. You're a big Jayhawks fan, seasoned veteran. We've heard about his pain in the past. This is obviously possibly a Big 12 tourney matchup coming into today. The Houston Cougars are the top-ranked team in Big 12. Kansas is 4th as of right now. How big is today's test for that given reason?
Well, more than just a Big 12 tournament matchup, I do believe these teams could meet in the Final Four later down the road. But, you know, this is the first ever Big 12 test for Houston against Kansas. And I think they're gonna have their eyes opened a little bit when they enter that field house. I mean, it's tough for teams who've played there before, but for this to be your first time at the Fog, I think it's going to get the better of them.
Yeah, KU is definitely one of those environments that's really hard to prepare for, especially if you've never been there in your run before. Obviously, Houston is a fantastic team, but not a lot of KUs in the American Athletic Conference where they're coming from. I'm going to switch it over to you. Last year, these teams were both top seeds. Houston took the L in the Sweet 16 to Miami. That was an 89-75 win for KU. It was in the round of 32, a 72-71 heartbreaking loss to Arkansas. Seems like both of these teams have something to prove today and this year in general. Would you say that this might be the biggest test for KU so far this year?
Yes, this is by far the best team they have faced or will face in the regular season. They've lost Iowa State. They've lost to West Virginia. They've lost to UCF. But those are pretty much the best, luckiest nights of those 3 teams. They were on fire from 3. This Houston Cougars team, they're elite. They're number 4 for a reason. They don't lose. They play spectacular defense. They share the ball. They can get it done on both sides. Jamal Sheed averaging 19.1 points per game in the last 5. That's somebody that you got to look out for today. DeJuan Harris has to keep him on lock. But the reigning Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, he'll do a fantastic job. But Kansas, you have to win this game today because you've been up and you've been down this entire season. Facing, like how Thomas said, this potential will be a Final Four matchup. You got to get yourself ready because if you lose this one, yeah, you got another time meeting them, but you're going to lose confidence just a little bit. You're probably going to lose the Big 12 championship, most likely, because between Iowa State, Houston, Baylor, you never know. But if you lose this one, you're done for the Big 12 championship. This is a must-win game for for Kansas, excuse me, not Houston. But I think they'll get it done. You know, Allen Fieldhouse is an extremely difficult place to play. 12-0 this year at home. Houston 2-3. So I'm not too worried. Jayhawks going to thrive off the momentum.
I'm worried. I'm absolutely worried.
Really?
It's not that Kansas hasn't been tested. It's that this is by far the biggest test for this lineup.
Mhm.
Because we played UConn, Tennessee, Kentucky earlier in the year, but that was before we kind of got everything figured out. Now that we have Furphy in there, things have changed a little bit for the better, of course, but I'm curious to see how the freshman deals with Houston's defense because it could be overbearing.
You mentioned the underclassmen. That's one of the big things with college basketball is that lineups change all the time. Now that you have one and done, you have NIL. You got Furphy in there now. You got Hunter Dickinson in there now. Obviously, KU's had plenty of time to get acclimated to this new lineup, but given that they are playing such a great team, and it is still players that are kind of still getting their feet in, whether played 21 games this year. How does that play into effect for a game like this?
You know, it seems like this lineup's been meshing lately. So Iowa State, of course, was a fluke. I mean, they were making an average of three pointers a game before we went to Hilton Coliseum, and as we all know, they went 14 for 30.
Don't you
So
love how that happens as soon as they come into your town, they just buck every trend?
that's been a running joke in the Kansas universe for like the past decade, is that like you'll have a player come in that has made 3 3-pointers all year and they'll drain 4 right on your head. It's just how it works. Where every team's Super Bowl. Houston is going to come to play today. They are going to get up for this game. I just hope our boys are ready.
Well, hit some history that you were mentioning. I know Tommy's obviously the big gambler of the group. He knows his spreads. Today is only the third time in the Bill Self era that KU was underdogs in Allen Fieldhouse. The last time that they were underdogs at home was in 2021 against Baylor, who ended up winning that national championship, but they weren't winners that day. Kansas took home a 71-58 win, I believe. As of right now, Houston, I think last I saw was -1.5. Tommy, how are you looking at the spread today?
If you are betting against Kansas at home, you are making a massive mistake. So not only is this only the third time that we have been underdogs in the Bill Self era at Allen Fieldhouse, but Bill Self is 13-0 against higher ranked teams at home.
I mean, how do you go
He
against
doesn't
that?
lose easy.
I mean, it's never happened. He's never lost to a higher ranked team at home.
Well, you got an hour and a half to make those bets. Listen to Thomas Forness if you're taking any part in this game. I have a hard time betting against KU as well. Okay, we're gonna go back and forth here. We're gonna get some key thoughts on the game. What are your guys' biggest keys to victory here for KU?
Don't turn the ball over. Houston has amazing defense, 28% allowed from 3-point range. They forced 16 turnovers a game, top 8. Kansas, Thomas, you and I have seen firsthand that when a couple of turnovers happen, it's just like a stampede, it's an avalanche. Take care of the basketball, make solid passes. If you commit to cutting, don't cut, then come back to the 3-point line. You cannot give this Houston Cougars team extra possessions. Take care of the ball. That's number one.
Tommy?
So this is a Cougars team that hasn't allowed 70 points all season in regulation.
Yep.
If we can get close to that number, I think we got the W locked up. As Kenan mentioned earlier, that DeJuan Harris, Jamal Shed matchup is everything. I mean, Harris has been kind of shaky up and down this year. He needs to be aggressive. He needs to just play his game. He needs to look at the rim. And another thing is McCullough. Is he playing at 100%? Which version of Kevin are we getting tonight? Because obviously him sitting out against Oklahoma State was mainly a precaution, but his status is still questionable. So that's a bit of cause of concern for me.
We'll start with you, Tommy, this time. Obviously, KU and Houston are littered with potential NBA talent. What is one key matchup that you have your eyes on for this game?
Man, I think just Furphy versus the field. I want to see how the freshman deals with the high pressure offense of Houston, because he's looked good in Big 12 play thus far, but he has not faced a team like Houston.
How important do you think it is too that his first test like this, it's at Allen Fieldhouse as opposed to going at Houston to start off?
The kid's been solid on the road, but man, there's just nothing like that Allen Fieldhouse environment. And if you look at the numbers, Houston does struggle with covering that corner 3. So if Furphy can expose him right there, I think we're in for a good day.
So many times against Oklahoma State in both games, he's wide open in corner 3s, just knocking that down. Kid is elite. I want him to stay for another year.
He's been good even when we lose games, is the thing.
His defense does bring a little bit to question. He has the height. His lateral quickness kind of a little bit underdeveloped, underwhelming. Plus, he doesn't have the size for a wing yet. He's still kind of skinny, 190, I think.
Well, yeah, well, on paper he's 205. I think that's a lie. I think he's closer to like mid 180s. But let me kind of extrapolate on that point I was making. If Furphy can stick with his man, that's going to be massive, because he actually does play good perimeter defense. But it depends on if Houston decides to bully him or not. If they start driving, I could see this game getting messy.
Yeah, I agree. But like once they put the ball on the floor, he's cooked.
Yeah, it's been a struggle.
So you're talking so much about Furphy. The corner 3 is such a big key here. Would you argue that makes him the X factor for this game as well, not just the key matchup? Or do you have another one in mind?
Honestly, my X factor this game has to be Hunter Dickinson. I honestly, when you look at this guy, 7'2", 250, crafty inside out scorer, can stretch the floor 18. Beautiful left jump hook as well. Like best post moves I've seen in college in the last 10 years. I'm not talking about Zach Edey, who's just dunks the ball because he's tall. But
Funny how they do that, isn't it?
well, Edie's a good player, but I have Dickinson over him. Feed the ball to Dickinson early, have him get their bigs in the foul trouble early, and then when they're playing small, you take advantage. KJ Adams coming off, extremely athletic. L. Marco Jackson, Nicholas Parker Braun, excuse me, and Nicholas Timberlake. I believe Nicholas will have a great game. I think if he knocks down 2 threes,
That is a
because
very hot take.
he's been there. Like I think this is his 5th or 6th year of college basketball, and he's good, but it's just like he's inconsistent at times. You need him to shine in moments that matter the most, because come the big dance, you're not going to get an opportunity to shine there if you haven't had an opportunity to prove yourself in the regular season.
We'll see, man. I mean, he's been good against bad teams. Against Houston, if he can show up, I mean, that's gonna be huge for our season. One thing you said about Dickinson being the X factor, I kind of just think Dickinson is what he is. He's gonna go get his points. He's gonna get his rebounds. I don't quite think that that's X factor. We definitely need him to have his average game, but I think it really comes down to DeJuan. I think DeJuan's ability to play defense today is going to be massive. If Shed goes off against us, it's going to be tough.
Just sticking with DeJuan all the way.
He needs to shoot the ball as well. He's very hesitant. He's almost unselfish to the point where it's selfish. And that's what people say about him.
I kind of noticed, I was looking at his stats a little bit. Like last year, he shot the ball a little bit more, had more assists and everything. And then this year, he's kind of taking this 3rd, 4th role of just distributing.
He's one of the few players in college basketball that has as many assists as he does points per game.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to find nowadays. Now that the true point guard days of like kind of the 90s and 2000s kind of gone wayside. Point guards are just bigger than ever, more athletic than ever, so they can just they don't have to just be guys shaped like me that just kicks the ball out to the guys that actually call an athletic.
You're kind of built like DeJuan.
Hey, I'll take it. All right, so Tommy, we're going back to the spreads here. Obviously, there's a big game, a lot of player props on the line. Do you have a lock of the day that you like?
Yeah, I think we'll keep it simple. I think Hunter Dickinson at 15.5 seems a bit low, and he averages around 20 per game. We're going to need him to have an average game if Kansas wants to win this, and I think he will. So I'm going Hunter Dickinson over 15.5 points. That's my lock.
Kenan, that's your X factor. How do you like that?
I love it. I love it. I love it.
All right, very good. I think we're going to move on now. I mean, it's only right. We got to do a final score prediction. Kenan, what's going to be your final score?
It's going to be an extremely high scoring game, but I think Houston's going to go cold in the last 6 minutes of the game. Give me Kansas 77, Houston 65.
Wow, 12-point game. Tommy.
So you believe Kansas will be the first team to
Yes.
put 70 points? Not only 70, but 77.
Yes, 77. I
Okay.
have faith in this team.
I'll be a bit more reserved. I think this game is very close, and I think Kansas pulls it off. I think they also get to 70. I think it's 73-68 only because of, garbage time free throws.
That's what's exactly my thought process as well. I think Kansas does get over 70, but I think it's going to be pretty down to the wire. It's going to be one of those deals where Houston has possession at the last minute, kicks it around, shoots a 3, no good, rebound, free throw, something like that. I'll say something pretty similar. I'll say Kansas 71, Houston 67. I think we all have KU winning. So I think that's our analysis. Good stuff, boys. But I mean, I'm the trivia guy here, so we gotta open up. We gotta have some trivia before we close up. Kenan, I have 2 cards here from You Gotta Know St. Louis Trivia. We finally have it back. Like I said, worth every penny. Which card are you gonna pick?
Give me the one on the left. This one. Well,
That is my right.
That's my left, your right.
Okay, we'll go with this one. I like this card more.
When
Ooh.
both cards have been on your left.
What?
Well, I held them the way I held them
Oh,
out.
we was telling them.
Yeah. All right. Question number 1. How we're gonna do this is, since you're both here and you're looking at me very seriously, I'm just gonna have you raise your hand. Whoever raises their hand first. Tommy, remember not to just shout out like what happened last time.
I would have beat him anyway.
You would have beat him anyway.
You would have, yeah.
Okay. Question number 1. Cardinals pitcher Jay Hanadine was better known by what nickname stemming from his colorful personality and eccentric behavior?
What year did he play?
Almost, not a full, but almost a century ago. You're gonna feel really dumb if you don't know this.
Colorful nickname.
And eccentric behavior. It's good.
I'll take a wild guess. The Mean Dean.
His last name is Dean. Incorrect. Kenan, do you want to try to clear it? Really disappointing you boys.
I have the Mean Machine.
What Cardinals player has number 17 retired? Good Lord, guys. Dizzy Dean.
Is that Dizzy D?
Yeah. Jay Hannah Dean. How many
Oh,
other
dude,
players?
I never knew that was his name. That's wild.
Well, you knew he had a nickname.
What year did you say he played?
Almost a full century ago. He was like in the 30s gas house game.
That.
I had a lot of confidence. In
Well, we can cut that part.
that one. We'll cut that part out. Question 1A. What Blues forward did USA Today call everyone's new favorite hockey player after he scored 4 shootout goals to push
God.
US past Russia in the 2014 Winter Olympics? I'm not sure. How confident were you that
I'm very confident.
your hand was like kind of up?
Well, I didn't know if we had to wait till you finished the question.
That's fair. We didn't cover that. You did have your hand up. I'll give you that.
Oshi.
Correct. Now, okay, going forward now, we'll say you got to wait till the end of the question. How about that?
Fair enough.
In 1996, who posted 10 goals and 27 assists in his 31-game stint, including the playoffs with the Blues, the greatest rental in NHL history?
Bro.
It's in quotes.
You said 97?
96.
I'm not gonna lie, my hockey knowledge is very
He turned the puck over against the Red Wings in Game 7, double overtime, and it led to a game-winning goal.
You're talking to me like I
The-
know this.
Yeah,
The most well-known hockey player of all time.
Really? Oh, that was like
That was really
that
close.
was
We were borderline on the first one. I'll give this one to Kenan to be fair.
Wayne Gretzky.
Correct.
I honestly, I thought him when I heard the greatest.
you kind of
rental.
gave us the answer.
It was a little hint right there, but I'm just like,
Well, yeah, but I thought you guys were gonna have it earlier. Like it's well known that Gretzky was a Blue.
I didn't know he was good as a Blue.
He was very good. I mean, he was good everywhere, but
greatest rental. That should have been.
yeah,
I had no idea he was good.
Yeah,
I thought he was kind of washed when he came here.
he was good enough. We should have won the cup. We would have won the cup if Grant Fuhr didn't get hurt that year against Toronto.
That was 2006.
1996.
Oh,
He retired in 99.
Okay.
We're tied at 1. Question number 4. If no tiebreaker, fortunately, or if we need a tiebreaker, fortunately, we have a second card over here. For 3 seasons, 1995-96 to 1997-98, St. Louis added what color to the sleeves and bottom stripes of their hockey uniforms?
red.
Bingo. Tommy wins it 2-1.
Can't mad about that.
All right, well played, boys.
2-time champ, back to back.
Tommy is a back-to-back champ. I think the standings are like 5-2 to nothing. We're gonna have to try to figure out. I miss playing. I get FOMO having to read the questions and not answering. them.
No, yeah, you're the Schwab.
I am the Schwab. I take great pride in being the Schwab. If you guys don't know who Stump the Schwab is, you gotta do your homework. Greatest show of all time. All right, boys. That calls it for this little snack of an unsportsmanlike content episode. We got our pregame analysis out of the way. We got some trivia in, and we're gonna have a pretty good Saturday. What you guys looking forward to the most?
Rock chalk, baby.
Rock Chuck.
The high hole burger.
I'm very excited for a high hope.
High hole burger
I've
during
been
the game. Come on now.
Cannot beat it. All right, I think that calls it for today's unsportsmanlike content. We'll see you guys when we see you guys. So enjoy your day.
Unsportsmanlike content.